Hey all, my name's Michael, welcome to the channel, and we're going to be getting into some 4chan stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Now, let's begin. Be Me Marcus, 21, a junior at community college studying business administration. I was never the life of the party, but I could hold conversations without combusting. I had a decent friend group from work at the local pizza shop, could approach girls at coffee shops and get numbers occasionally. I wasn't a smooth operator, but I was a functional human being with a social pulse. I had my first serious girlfriend sophomore year. It lasted 8 months. I felt like I was on a normal trajectory toward adult life. Then the great reset button of 2020 gets pressed. Some pangolin in a wet market becomes humanity's problem. College announces a brief pause for public safety. 2 weeks to slow the spread, they said. 2 weeks becomes 2 months, becomes indefinite suspension of reality. The pizza shop closes permanently. I lose my job and social circle simultaneously. I watch civilization collapse through TikTok videos. My family becomes my only human contact for 18 months. Mom works from home, dad's laid off from construction. We turn into weird, isolated pod people. Dinner conversations revolve around grocery store conspiracy theories. Arguing over thermostat settings becomes major family drama. I realize I haven't spoken to anyone outside my household since Easter 2020. My social muscles atrophy like an unused gym membership. I returned to in-person classes in fall 2021, expecting to seamlessly reintegrate into the college social scene. Instead, I feel like an alien anthropologist studying human behavior. Everyone walks around in masks, avoiding eye contact. Group projects are conducted through the shared Google Docs. Cafeteria eating feels like hazardous waste disposal. Campus parties are replaced by sanitized Zoom hangouts. I attempt to restart my dating life through apps and realize my photos look like missing person posters. Pale skin, dead eyes, hair that hasn't seen a professional barber. I match with exactly 0 humans over 3 months. Not even bots want to talk to me. I delete the apps and retreat further into digital hermitage, start referring to the outside world as the before times. I graduate with my business degree via hybrid learning and land an entry-level position at a marketing firm, thankfully remote. Initially, I'm excited about avoiding office politics and commute. I set up an elaborate home office with multiple monitors, living the dream of working in pajamas. But after 6 months, I realize I'm slowly losing my mind. My daily routine becomes a dystopian Groundhog Day. Wake up at 10 a.m., coffee, check emails. 8 hours of video calls with camera permanently disabled. Lunch break spent scrolling social media alone. I type enthusiastic responses in team chat while dead inside. Exciting project. Can't wait to collaborate. Great insights, everyone. I haven't had a meaningful conversation with a human in months. Coworkers exist only as profile pictures and Slack notifications. My boss is a disembodied voice who never shows face on calls. Company culture consists of emoji reactions and corporate buzzwords. I start talking to houseplants to practice vocal exercises. My philodendron becomes my most reliable conversation partner. At least it doesn't judge my social anxiety. Desperation drives me to explore online communities. I join Reddit forums, Discord servers, Twitch chats, anything to simulate human interaction. I spend entire weekends in voice channels with strangers, discussing video games I don't play and anime I don't watch, just desperate to hear voices that aren't my own echo. I meet a girl named Zoe in a book club Discord server. She's studying literature at a university in Portland. We start private messaging about shared interests, philosophy, indie music, existential dread about modern life. Conversations flow naturally for the first time in years. Voice calls turn into daily 4-hour marathons. Zoe becomes my emotional lifeline to sanity. She listens to me ramble about work frustrations. I help her through family drama and academic stress. We watch movies together through screen sharing, fall asleep on voice calls like a long-distance couple. We develop inside jokes and shared vocabulary. It feels more intimate than any physical relationship I'd had. 8 months in, we start planning to meet. I book flights to Portland for a long weekend. Hotel room reserved, restaurant reservations made. The week before the trip, she cancels citing family emergency. We reschedule for a month later. She cancels again with work conflicts. The pattern continues for 6 more months. She always has reasonable excuses but never follows through. I start suspecting she's catfishing or married. I reverse image search her photos, run social media background checks, everything checks out. She's a real person with consistent online presence, just apparently terrified of meeting her internet boyfriend. Our relationship exists in a permanent state of soon, like waiting for a season finale that never comes. A year and a half into our digital relationship, Zoe goes silent. She stops responding to messages mid-conversation. Social media accounts deactivated overnight. Mutual Discord friends say she deleted everything. No explanation, no closure, just vanished into the internet void. Our anniversary becomes a screenshot folder on my desktop. My face when the most meaningful relationship of my life existed entirely in headphones. I decide I need to rejoin physical reality. I download dating apps with fresh perspective and better photos, manage to get a coffee date with a grad student named Elena. She's studying environmental science, seems intelligent and kind. My heart is pounding so hard, I'm worried about a visible pulse. My hands shake while trying to open the car door. The coffee date is an absolute catastrophe of human interaction. She asks about my hobbies. I panic and say collecting vintage stamps. I have never owned a stamp in my life. She mentions traveling to Ecuador for research. I respond, that's where coffee comes from, like a complete idiot. The conversation limps along for 30 minutes before a mercy killing. She excuses herself to the bathroom and never returns. I sit alone for an hour, wondering if I've become fundamentally broken. I drive home in complete silence, questioning my life choices. I feel like software with corrupted files. Social interactions that once felt natural now require conscious effort. Every conversation feels like improvising in a foreign language. I seriously consider becoming a monk to avoid future embarrassment. I determine I need professional help. I start seeing a therapist who specializes in social anxiety. Dr. Peterson explains the pandemic created an epidemic of social regression. Millions of people forgot how to interact normally. Your experience is common, not pathological. Somehow, this doesn't make me feel less like a defective human. Therapy sessions focus on gradual exposure to social situations. Homework assignments include ordering coffee and asking strangers for directions. I practice small talk with grocery store cashiers. Each interaction feels like performing surgery with boxing gloves. I'm slowly building tolerance for human contact like allergy treatment. 6 months of therapy produces minimal improvement. I still can't make eye contact without internal alarm bells. Phone calls trigger fight or flight response. Group therapy sessions feel like group torture sessions. Other patients seem more functional than me. I start wondering if the damage is permanent. I decide to try a different approach through physical fitness. I join a gym thinking exercise might boost confidence. Initially intimidated by athletic people and weight machines, I stick to the treadmill and avoid eye contact with everyone. I gradually work up courage to use free weights and notice slight improvements in posture and energy. 3 months into my gym routine, I have an awkward encounter. I accidentally bump into someone while changing plates. It's an attractive girl around my age. I expect a hostile response, but instead, she laughs and makes a joke about gym etiquette. We chat for 5 minutes about workout routines and exchange social media handles without a massive panic attack. First successful stranger interaction in literal years. Her name is Amber. She works as an occupational therapist. She understands social anxiety from a professional perspective and doesn't judge my awkwardness or stilted conversation. We start texting regularly, meeting for coffee occasionally. She's patient with my need to take everything extremely slowly and appreciates that I listen carefully and remember details. 6 months of friendship gradually evolves into dating. Amber helps me practice basic social skills in low-pressure settings, introduces me to her friend group through small gatherings, board game nights, hiking trips, casual dinner parties. Initially terrifying, but becomes manageable with support. I realize other people also became socially rusty during the pandemic. My relationship with Amber continues developing over a year. She appreciates my thoughtfulness and genuine interest in others. Pandemic isolation taught me to value authentic connections. I help her through work stress and family complications. We balance each other's social energy levels perfectly. She pushes me toward growth. I provide stability and loyalty. 2 years post-isolation, I feel almost human again. I can attend parties without hiding in the bathroom, make small talk with the neighbors and co-workers. Phone calls no longer trigger existential crisis. I still prefer smaller groups, but am no longer completely dysfunctional. Relationship anxiety has been replaced by normal relationship challenges. Looking back, I realized the pandemic was an involuntary social reset that forced an entire generation to relearn basic human interaction. Some people adapted quickly, others took years to recover. Isolation taught me to distinguish between surface level and meaningful connections. Digital relationships can provide emotional support, but can't replace physical presence. I still occasionally wonder about Zoe from Discord and hope she found whatever she was looking for. I'm grateful for the connection when I desperately needed it. It taught me that intimacy can exist in unexpected forms, even if it ends without resolution or closure. My advice for fellow pandemic casualties still struggling: therapy helps but requires a compatible therapist and patience. Social skills are like unused muscles. They can be rebuilt. Start with low-stakes interactions and gradually increase difficulty. Find people who understand the struggle and won't judge awkwardness. Physical fitness genuinely helps with confidence and energy. Everyone got weird during isolation. You're not alone. The pandemic fundamentally altered my relationship with society and myself. I went from moderately social college student to anxious hermit to cautiously optimistic adult. The process of rebuilding social confidence is ongoing but definitely possible. Some changes are permanent, but most social skills are recoverable with effort and support. My face when I survived the great unraveling and lived to tell the tale. An entire generation collectively forgot how to be human. We're all figuring it out together, one awkward interaction at a time. There's hope for post-pandemic social recovery if you're willing to do the work. My face when human connection proves stronger than digital isolation in the end. Story 2. Be me. Nathan, 25, working tech support for insurance company. Basically human equivalent of beige wallpaper. 5'6", soft around middle, face like confused hamster. Wardrobe exclusively consists of khakis and polo shirts from Target clearance rack. Social skills calibrated somewhere between awkward penguin and broken chatbot. People interact with me like I'm customer service NPC in poorly programmed game. Childhood was preview of adult invisibility. Teachers forgot my name despite having me in class entire semester. School photos somehow always managed to cut me out of frame. Birthday parties where I was invited out of pity, ignored upon arrival. Voted most likely to be confused for someone else in yearbook. Even my own parents occasionally introduced me as our other son. High school guidance counselors suggested I consider realistic career paths. Translation: accept mediocrity because that's your ceiling. Applied to colleges where being forgettable was considered asset. Got into accounting program at Regional State University. Perfect field for someone society had already decided was background character. College years were exercised in systematic social exclusion. Roommate moved out after first semester citing weird energy. Joined a chess club, got beaten by 12-year-old visiting his older brother. Attempted intramural sports, became a permanent bench warmer. Study groups where people forgot to send me meeting updates. Graduated with 3.4 GPA and 0 memorable social experiences. Landed tech support job through online application. Perfect role for invisible person. Solve problems via phone and email. Customers hang up when they hear my voice. Assuming they reached the wrong department or junior intern. Coworkers give me assignments meant for new hires despite 3 years experience. Annual reviews where supervisor struggles to remember my contributions. Dating life was statistical impossibility. Created dating profiles using professional headshots and carefully crafted bios. Match rate hovering around 0.3% over 18 months. When dates occurred, women spent evening checking phones for better options. Several dates ended with emergency calls requiring immediate departure. One woman actually pretended to have food poisoning mid-appetizer. Rock bottom moment came during relationship with coworker Jennifer. She worked in billing department, seemed equally invisible to most people. We bonded over shared experiences of being overlooked and underestimated. 8 months of quiet dinners and Netflix binges. Thought I'd found someone who valued personality over appearances. Discovered her affair with facilities manager through overheard phone conversation. Confrontation with Jennifer revealed harsh reality about my social value. You're comfortable, Nathan, like favorite sweatshirt. But Ricardo makes me feel alive when he looks at me. People notice when he walks into room. With you, I feel like we're both extras in other people's stories. MFW, even fellow invisible person, couldn't accept invisible relationship. I was safety net for someone who also needed safety net. Something fundamental broke that night, then reconstructed itself into obsession. Decided to hack the social algorithm that had always worked against me. Research transformation like doctoral thesis, psychology, biology, sociology. Studied attractive people like anthropologists observing alien species. Noted patterns in behavior, grooming, body language, vocal tonality. Joined expensive gym in wealthy neighborhood. Hired personal trainer named Derek who looked like Marvel superhero. Derek initially confused why computer guy wanted intensive physical transformation. Explained I was conducting experiment in social engineering. He became fascinated by project, created customized invisibility cure program. First 6 months were education in physical discomfort, eliminated processed foods, sugar, alcohol, happiness, meal prep Sundays became chemistry experiments in macronutrient optimization. Protein powder mixed with existential dread for breakfast. Weightlifting sessions felt like manual labor performed by dying person. Progress measured in millimeters of muscle gain and degrees of suffering. Simultaneously attacked grooming deficiencies with a military precision. Expensive haircut from stylists who charged more than my monthly car payment. Skincare routine involving 12 different products applied in specific sequence. Teeth whitening treatment that made eating ice cream torture. Wardrobe consultation with fashion expert who spoke in foreign language called style. Learned proper fit makes average person look wealthy, poorly fit makes wealthy person look homeless. Invested in professional photography session for updated social media presence. Photographers spent 3 hours teaching me how to make natural facial expressions. Apparently, my default expression was confused retail employee. Learned difference between approachable smile and a serial killer grin. Practice eye contact techniques until I could maintain gaze without sweating. 12 months into transformation, changes became undeniable. Jawline emerged from facial padding like sculpture being revealed. Shoulders broadened, waist narrowed, posture improved dramatically. Mirror reflections showed stranger who happened to share my memories. Progress photos looked like before and after advertisement for life coaching service. World began responding differently before I consciously noticed improvements. Coffee shop barista started remembering my order and name. Grocery store employees offered to help carry bags to car. Bank teller processed transactions with genuine smiles instead of obligatory politeness. Phone customer service representatives became helpful rather than dismissive. Traffic enforcement officers gave warnings instead of tickets. Workplace dynamics shifted subtly at first, then dramatically. Supervisor began including me in strategy meetings previously above my pay grade. Coworkers sought my opinions on projects unrelated to my expertise. Female colleagues initiated conversations about weekend plans and personal interests. IT director offered informal mentorship and career advancement discussions. Annual performance review featured words like leadership potential and executive material. Applied for promotion to systems analyst role requiring additional qualifications. Interviewing panel consisted of 3 women and 1 man. Spent first half discussing technical requirements, second half talking about fitness routine. Received job offer despite lacking several required certifications. Later learned hiring manager described me as having strong presence and natural charisma. Salary increased 35% for position I was moderately qualified to perform. Dating apps transformed from wasteland into abundance marketplace. Profile views increased 300%, matches increased 500%. Messages from women who initiated contact with creative pickup lines. Quality of matches improved from desperate to highly selective. Dates with nurses, lawyers, marketing executives, graduate students, people who would have swiped past previous version without hesitation. Social situations became completely different experiences. Parties where people approached me for conversations. Bars where drinks appeared courtesy of admirers. Networking events where business cards were exchanged enthusiastically. Restaurant servers provided better tables and complimentary appetizers. Airline gate agents offered seat upgrades without being asked. Old friendships underwent stress testing due to dynamic changes. Best friend Marcus grew increasingly resentful of attention I received. His girlfriend Sarah began flirting openly despite years of treating me like furniture. Group outings where I became focal point instead of background presence. You've gotten arrogant, Marcus accused after a particularly successful evening. I'm exactly the same person, I replied, just wearing different packaging now. Evidence of appearance privilege accumulated through daily interactions. Gym membership comped by manager wanting motivational success story. Retail stores where salespeople competed to assist me. Government offices where bureaucrats process paperwork efficiently. Medical appointments where receptionists found convenient scheduling openings. University alumni events where professors remembered me fondly despite mediocre grades. Professional opportunities multiplied exponentially. Headhunters contacted me about positions I hadn't applied for. Conference invitations to speak about digital transformation strategies. Despite minimal expertise in that specific area, LinkedIn connections grew from 47 to 800 plus within 6 months. Networking conversations where people genuinely wanted to maintain contact. Mistakes and character flaws underwent positive reinterpretation. Arriving late to meetings went from unprofessional to must be handling important matters. Admitting ignorance about topics became refreshing honesty and intellectual humility. Same dry humor that previously generated silence now earned genuine laughter. People assigned confident, mysterious personality traits without evidence. Most educational were observations of unchanged friends navigating same social spaces. Watched Marcus deliver thoughtful compliments only to be ignored or rejected. Identical conversation starters receive completely different responses based on Messenger. Witnessed women recoil from average-looking men's advances while welcoming mine. Good intentions automatically assumed from attractive people. Suspicious motives from others. Beauty privilege functioned as comprehensive life upgrade system. People extended patience, granted benefit of doubt, offered second chances. Like discovering I'd been playing Existence on nightmare difficulty while others enjoyed easy mode. Basic human decency received as extraordinary virtue rather than desperate compensation. Same personality traits interpreted positively when delivered by attractive messenger. Psychological impact created complex mixture of gratitude and cynicism, grateful for opportunities and treatment previously unavailable, cynical about human nature and society's appearance-based value judgments, same humor, same kindness, same intelligence, same work ethic, but completely different life trajectory based solely on physical transformation. Dating became entirely different ecosystem with new challenges. Women who previously wouldn't acknowledge my existence now initiated contact. Ex-girlfriend Jennifer reached out 8 months after Ricardo dumped her. I realize I made a terrible mistake, want to try again. She only reconsidered after visual upgrade package. MFW personality she couldn't tolerate hadn't changed fundamentally. Current relationship with marketing executive named Amanda. She's intelligent, successful, treats me well, but relationship began with swipe right on updated photos. Same personality she claims to love was always present, just packaged differently when she encountered it. Can't escape knowledge that initial attraction was purely superficial. Social media underwent complete transformation. Posts receiving hundreds of likes instead of usual 3. Comments from high school classmates who'd never acknowledged my existence. Tagged in photos at events I'd been systematically excluded from. Friend requests from people who'd treated me like invisible furniture. DMs offering various forms of personal and professional opportunities. Work environment continued evolving in unprecedented directions. Promoted to senior systems analyst within 18 months. Invited to executive strategy meetings despite limited relevant experience. Colleagues seeking my input on decisions outside my expertise area. Management track discussions initiated by department director. Salary progression outpacing performance metrics and industry standards. Physical transformation required ongoing maintenance and investment. Daily gym sessions, strict nutrition protocols, expensive grooming routines. Personal trainer, nutritionist, dermatologist, stylist all on retainer. Monthly costs approaching small car payment for maintaining appearance. Constant vigilance required to preserve social advantages gained through transformation. Developed acute awareness of appearance-based social stratification. Observed how service workers, cashiers, support staff were systematically ignored. Witnessed attractive customers receive preferential treatment in identical situations. Noted correlation between physical appearance and assumptions about intelligence, competence, trustworthiness. Documented systematic bias in professional advancement opportunities. Began mentoring other invisible people through transformation process, shared strategies for physical improvement, grooming optimization, confidence building, helped colleagues understand unspoken rules of appearance-based social interaction, witnessed their similar transformations and resulting life improvements. Confirmed that beauty privilege was systematic rather than individual phenomenon. Philosophical implications became increasingly disturbing. Realized that fundamental human worth shouldn't depend on physical attributes, but social reality consistently demonstrated opposite principle. Same character, intelligence, humor, kindness received different treatment based on packaging. Appearance functioned as currency in social transactions, now living as a reformed invisible person with insider knowledge. Grateful for transformation while remembering previous existence. Use privileged position to advocate for overlooked colleagues. Recommend promotions for competent but physically unremarkable employees. Attempt to counteract appearance bias through conscious decision-making. Carry permanent psychological scar from years of systematic dismissal. Hyper-aware of how society treats people based on surface-level characteristics. Same personality that was once ignored, now celebrated and rewarded. Proof that beauty privilege is real but rarely acknowledged phenomenon, especially by those who benefit without recognizing their advantages. MFWI became a living experiment in appearance-based social engineering. MFW identical personality received completely different reception in improved packaging. Transformation was necessary survival strategy rather than vanity project. Society's treatment of people based on looks is more brutal than anyone admits. I'll never forget what invisibility felt like or take current visibility for granted. MFW, the algorithm updated and suddenly I existed.